Italian Universities, Innovation in Research and Higher Education, by Dr. Fabio Rugge. Fabio Rugge has been the rector of the University of Pavia since October 2013. To you.
Yes, thank you. I would like. Yes, I see it. Thank you very much. I would like to thank ISNAF for inviting me and CRUI this meeting, its president and Monica Veronesi. And I'd like to thank the ambassador for hosting us and all the speakers for contributing to this meeting that is very promising in its content. This is the title of my presentation. We've been hearing about recent measures by the government and this excellent initiative that is called Human Technopool. It is my task to give you some a larger picture of the Italian system of research and higher education. But let me first say what is CRUI, the Conference of Italian Rector, on behalf of which I'm talking today. It's an association of Italian rectors. It has 80 members out of 96 legally recognized universities in Italy. A few data about Italian university. I guess everybody knows in the room and knows these figures, but in the case I just repeat it, it's you know, it's rather interesting, for instance, to realize how many international PhD students are enrolled in Italy presently. I will come back to that soon, but I want to speak about innovations and innovations in teaching and research. What did we innovate in teaching recently? Well, I think the most interesting point are four. First, the number of English courses increased, and there is a very strong move towards internationalization of the system. Then we have new programs for education. I will speak about it. And then we have what we call co-produced education. What does it mean? It means that education is not always and only and exclusively the task of universities, but of other social actors that can bring knowledge useful for further developing the education and career of students. And then the quest for interdisciplinarity. This is a very important point that I will shortly speak of later on. About English programs, programs taught in English, you see we have an increasing number of such courses that are attended by university students that come from different countries in the world, but not yet enough, and not yet from the countries that are placed in the higher part of the Human Development Index that we want to increase. And we have doctoral programs. You see, we have about 1/3, little less than 1/3 of doctoral programs that are taught in English. This is an offer that we think can be offered to the developed countries and be successful in the next years. Postgraduate programs. We increasingly offer university programs that are meant to answer to the new societal and scientific challenges, to create new professions. This is increasing in the way you see in the slide, and I think it's a way of the system to adjust itself to today changing society. This is what I call the co-produced education. We have changed, the whole university system has changed a lot recently, and one side that has changed significantly is the relationship with the corporate world, which was almost absent 30 years ago, and now is thriving because of several reasons, but also because we realize that this cooperation can be the key of success for both parts, both the industry and university. You see, for instance, this master program launched recently, where you have out of 5 semesters, 2 spent in a firm, in a corporate actor, in order to you see, the idea is not that in university knowledge is produced and then it is applied in a company, in business, but that both university and business create the knowledge we need and educate people to be ready to serve in these different new fields. This is the attractiveness of Italy for international students. It is so you see, Italy. This is 2012. It was the last release from UNESCO, and you see that Italy is the 10th country. But this is not a figure I like to consider as a real indicator of how internationally attractive our system is, because there you have very many students that come for a shorter time, not degree seeking. That is, they don't entrust themselves and their future to our system, to our higher education system. But nevertheless, I believe that that Italy may become internationally attractive also because of this factor of fees. We have very low fees, and this in spite of a good quality of teaching and of the attractiveness of the country itself. But you see, in darker blue, we have fees paid by our students and by foreign students for the bachelor, and in red you see how they're paying for the master level. So very low fees that can be attractive because the quality of teaching is rather good. Why do I say this? Because in Italy, as you know, we don't have a distinction, a difference between, we don't make any difference between teaching university and research universities. In Italy, no university would be called such if it's not a research university. So what is the innovation in the field of research? The first is that we have by now, since 15 years, a system of public funding that is based on performance. And second, we have a policy that that has been more and more relying on earmarked and focused funding. An example of that is the Human Technopole or the NATA chairs that have been quoted by Professor Simoni a couple of minutes ago, and other programs as this Industry 4.0 program. What is measured when the government is funding universities? You see, it also, and especially research quality, is financed, is evaluated, sorry, and I think that in terms of stimulating quality and quantity of research. you may see here a slide that shows a data that not many people would know. Italy is the 7th country in the world for articles published by its researchers. This means that in Italy, in spite of what we hear usually, and in spite of underfinancing, we produce a high amount of qualified research. And for instance, Italy is by far the country where the scientific production has the highest figure pro capita pro researchers. It's by far in the sense that it's only close to United Kingdom that is second. What is changing is also that we started very late. We started in the 80s to produce effective spin-offs, but you can see here how it was growing in time, and you can see also here the number of patents that were produced in universities, which was very low in 2004. Only 75 patents produced in 2004. They became 266 in 2014, which means an interesting growth. And you see what is what are the figure, approximately the figure, if you consider only the 5 top universities. Sorry? Yes. Conclusions.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. So my conclusions are the following. I believe that education in Italy, in Italian university, is potentially competitive because you have good quality of teaching and the whole country is attractive, and the fees, the tuition fees are rather low. And therefore, I believe that the attractiveness could become rapidly more competitive in the future. The outcome of Italian university research is fairly good, although, has been said, it is undermined by insufficient financing. And Italian universities are increasingly investing in technology transfer, but we are still backward, and we want to, the present is weak, and we want to better under this point of view, and I believe that we are on the right track for that. What I wanted you to bring back home from this short presentation, and maybe talking about that in a few minutes, is that in Italy a new university is been creating in the last 20 years. This university is very competitive in terms of education and produces research of high quality and high intensity, that any extra gift or extra offer is welcome, but we need the whole system to be more financed in order to become, as we can, I think, a key player in the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor Rugge. Sorry for cutting short the panelists, but we want to...
Watching my wrist.
Great. But we want to also give the opportunity to